The original Planet of the Apes movie set off a surprisingly large franchise of films and TV shows. Planet of the Apes is a timeless classic that ended with one of the greatest plot twists of all time. It then went on to spawn 4 cheesy but entertaining sequels. The film series also went on to inspire a live-action TV show of the same name, as well as a cartoon series titled Return of the Planet of the Apes. There was then a remake of the original film with the same name but a few slight changes to the plot. Finally, there was a prequel reboot in 2011 which in itself spawned 2 sequels, one released in 2014 and one to be released in 2017. I've seen all of these and enjoyed every single one of them except for the extremely dated cartoon series.
Humanoids are nothing but a scourge to all of us. They should be eradicated.
And the Tim Burton remake. Rise of the Planet of the Apes is a good example of a great successful reboot that's full of CGI and special effects. A lot of remakes or reboots try to take advantage of new technology by taking an original film story and redoing it with way too many special effects. The original Planet of the Apes was made in 1968 when special effects were practically non-existent. The apes were literally just humans in suits. The 2001 remake hardly brought in anything new such as CGI or special effects. The only new thing it had were crap actors and a confusing, boring plot. It also somehow managed to make the ape suits look even worse than the original. Then the reboots came along and managed to revive the series by bringing in a brilliant new original story and some of the best special effects of modern time. The quality of Rise of the Planet of the Apes managed to rub off in the box office by earning it $176,760,185, which is $144,170,561 more than the original film made. Sadly, it didn't earn as much as the 2001 remake, but that's most likely because people flocked to the cinemas to see a Tim Burton movie, not knowing that this film would set off a trend of bad remakes directed by him. Luckily, people realised how great the reboot was, so more people went to see the sequel when it came out, earning it $208,545,589, which is $28,533,849 more than the remake earned. All of this success and good reviews have set up a whole new franchise that's overthrown all of the previous films. They are almost completely separate from them at this point. Planet of the Apes is a clear-cut sign that reboots can work, but remakes can't. I mostly agree with this because reboots can help to set up a whole new franchise and actually contain original content at the same time, whereas a remake is usually just made for the money and overloads a good story with special effects. There are exceptions such as the 2002 remake of The Ring, which contained more intense and frightening scenes in the Japanese version, and also added more of a mystery element to it and helped bring it to a wider audience. Reboots are a hit or miss, just like sequels and prequels or any other film for that matter. They're taking the same characters or settings but putting them in a new story, and whether that story is good or bad is up to interpretation. The audience for remakes are usually intended to be the same as the target audience for the original because they're lazy and they know they already have an audience that will watch their film. In Tim Burton's case, he already has a large following of people who would watch every single one of his films, so he decided to get a larger demographic by stealing the audience for the original Planet of the Apes. The reboot brought in a brand new audience, but also kept fans of the original wanting to see it by giving large references to the original film. Aside from the money, there wasn't really any other inspiration to make the remake. The reboot, however, was inspired by lots of modern reboots being made around that time, including TV show reboots, such as Bates Motel, Hannibal, and Batman Begins, The Amazing Spider-Man, etc. No single film or TV show alone were enough to inspire Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but the trend of rebooting franchises to a modern audience with modern effects was what did it. There wasn't much marketing for the films in the 60s, so the original Planet of the Apes was only marketed through a cheesy, cliché trailer. The 2001 Planet of the Apes had slightly more marketing as a way to let everyone know that it was directed by Tim Burton, but there still wasn't any special marketing techniques that earned the film so much money in the box office. The reboot decided to go for a different approach to marketing by releasing a promotional video of an ape being given a machine gun. This video went viral because so many people thought it was real. This tactic worked very well because once people realised it was promoting a film, it made everyone want to go see it. Technology was one of the biggest things that distinguished the originals, the remake and the reboots. The effects in the originals are very dated, but they weren't used too much. The one good thing about the remake was the fact that there were some good special effects in the fight scenes, and they managed to not overdo it. And the special effects in the reboots top everything in the franchise by miles. Some of the shots would make you think that the apes are actually real, even if they're talking. The original Planet of the Apes received lots of critical acclaim when it was released and is still praised to this day, receiving an 8 out of 10 rating on IMDb and 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. The remake was slandered during its release, mostly for the plot twist at the end, but also for the bad acting and just the blandness of it, which is especially strange being as Tim Burton is known for making movies that are weird, wacky and fun. It received a 5.7 out of 10 rating on IMDb and a 45% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Both of the reboots were very critically acclaimed when they were released. They were mostly praised for their special effects, but also for the emotional story and for managing to give non-human characters personality unlike any other film. Some critics even said they were better than the originals. They received a 7.6 out of 10 rating each on IMDb and an 82% and 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes respectively. This helps prove my theory that remakes are mostly made just for money and are usually bad, whereas reboots can be completely original and separate from the original films whilst being made to set up a whole new franchise for a brand new audience.